Hello. If you are an adult feeling disappointed with yourself for not reaching your maximum potential yet and feel that time is running out, stay with me. I'm about to share a little of my humble story of personal growth, hoping that if you in any way feel identified with my story, get motivated to reach your next level of personal growth, just the way you always have wished, with no more hesitation, no matter which phase of life you find yourself, no matter how old you are. My name is Nelda Rosario. I'm 58 years old. I was born in Trujillo Alto, Puerto Rico on May 2nd, 1964. I grew up in a loving family where education was always encouraged. My parents, Mr. Angel Luis Cruz and Miss Nilda Nieves, always expressed to us, to my siblings and me, that they wanted the best for us, a better life than they had. My siblings and I grew up learning from our parents that the best way to get ahead in life was through hard work and getting a college education. Growing up, my parents tried to create an environment at home where schoolwork was always a priority. I was a straight A student all the way up to middle school. However, the onset of puberty and adolescence changed everything for me. Feelings of insecurity, inadequacy, and unacceptance soon set in. By the time I entered high school, I had lost interest in my education. From being an honor student, I finished being a high school dropout. At 17 years old, I became a mother of a precious baby boy, my firstborn, William Joseph. I finished high school taking night classes. From there, my life turned super complicated. Even though I didn't have a clue how to raise a child, I ended up having two more children, Angel David and Kathleen Yvette. Being a mother of three sure wasn't an easy task. The dream of pursuing a college degree I once had seemed impossible to achieve at this point. In 1981, I moved to Connecticut with the father of my children, which made it even more difficult for me since we both were young adults trying to raise children in a strange place away from our families, not knowing good English, without jobs, and without education. Like many other Puerto Ricans back in the 1980s, I became dependent on the U.S. welfare system to be able to feed my children and put a roof over their heads. Things were not working out between my children's father and me. To make matters worse, the reality of becoming a single mother with three children started to sink in. Many nights I cried my eyes out, feeling like a failure for not being able to provide a stable home for my children, emotionally or financially. After many tears and being sick and tired of being completely broke, sometimes even depending on charity services in the community and church and the charity of some great neighbors who felt sorry for seeing me struggling so much, I had a breakthrough. One of those long nights, crying my eyes out, sitting in my apartment kitchen, I realized that if I wanted a better life for my children and myself, I had to take charge and start changing things around. I soon realized that I had to stop just wishing for it and start doing something about it. It took me a while to figure out how to get on my way to improvement, but when I did, it sure made me feel great about myself. My first step was to start taking English classes. Back then, the welfare system had a program for mothers who wanted to improve their skills. They paid for childcare and public transportation. The classes were offered at the former South Central Community College in New Haven, Connecticut. I took English as a second language, office skills like typing, filing, and interview and resume skills. Those classes allowed me to get started in the workplace. I remember at a job fair learning that the U.S. Post Office was hiring and giving the test to those interested in working for them in different positions. I registered immediately to take the test. I remember studying for the test every opportunity I had. I had gotten some test samples to practice, helping me study for the test, and practicing paid off. For the test repeatedly It helped me earn a score of 95%, allowing me to get hired by the post office within 6 months, first as a temporary casual clerk and 6 months later as a permanent part-time flexible distribution clerk. My life changed completely after that. I felt empowered. It boosted my confidence as a single mother to confront my difficulties and strive for a better life for my children and myself. A year later, I requested a transfer to the post office in San Juan, Puerto Rico. When I got the transfer to Puerto Rico granted, my parents opened their home to receive me with my 3 children. Working at the post office in Puerto Rico as a newcomer, I had to work the second and third shifts. Since I had to go to work in the evenings, my parents helped me watch my children, taking care of them, and being a role model. I will be forever grateful to my parents for all the unconditional love they gave us when we needed it the most. A year later, after establishing myself in Puerto Rico with my children, the dream of getting a college degree appeared and intensified in my mind again. So I decided to try it. I enrolled at Polytechnic University in San Juan, Puerto Rico to pursue an engineering degree. However, after a year and a half, I dropped from school. Exhaustion soon took over. It became too difficult to be a parent, work full-time, and pursue a degree. However, I couldn't help to feel like a failure for not being able to achieve my goal. Several years went by. I found myself falling in love once again. I became the mother of my 4th child, Edwin Adriel, out of that relationship. As soon as Edwin was born, it was noticeable that Edwin had been born with congenital problems. After Edwin had been tested exhaustively medically, it was determined that Edwin had been born with trisomy 8 mosaic. One of the features of trisomy 8 is agenesis of the corpus callosum, which is the absence of the nerve fiber that connects both hemispheres of the brain. I was told by Edwin's doctor that he was the first case of trisomy 8 reported in Puerto Rico. With his condition, Edwin faced many health challenges. Although the relationship between Edwin's father and I didn't work, we were able to put Edwin's needs first and step up to the challenge of parenting Edwin despite our differences. Edwin got hospitalized more than 20 times in the first 2 years of his life. Nothing prepared us for all the demands Edwin's condition brought to our lives in the first years of his life. Between hospitalizations and therapy, the stress of figuring out how to coordinate all the services Edwin needed, as well as how to pay for them, caused me to fall in deep depression. It wasn't until I realized that my children required a strong mother to overcome the difficulties we were living as a family that I was able to change my perspective, the perspective on life, believe in my abilities and capacities, in my inner strength and confidence to grow and improve my life. A few years later, I met who is my current husband, the love of my life, Mr. Luis Rosario Jr., a Navy veteran who I've had the honor to share my life with for the last 26 years. We met working in the post office where we became good friends. After a while, we couldn't help to fall in love with each other. Although having all the odds against us as a couple with children from previous relationships, one of them with special needs, my son Edwin, we decided to get married and give it a try. We got married on September 22nd, 1995. There have been many challenges in our way, but our love still very much alive and strong. 5 years into our marriage, we received our 8th child, Genesis Lois Beth. She brought so much joy to our family. Now, when my son Edwin was approaching school age, we came to learn that in Puerto Rico, there were not many educational options for children with disabilities. In 1995, the public school system wasn't structured to challenge children with intellectual disabilities like Edwin. I could not find a school for children like Edwin that we could afford. Even having good paying jobs at the time, we couldn't afford to pay for all the services and cares that he needed. as a developing child with special needs. This was when we decided to sell our home and move to Florida to look for better and more affordable services for Edwin. It was hard to leave our families behind. At the time, it felt like we had made the right decision. We did what we had to do to allow Edwin to have better options for his health and education. Moving to Florida gave Edwin the best chance to develop his potential. We don't ever regret moving to Florida, although getting established was very difficult. We couldn't find good paying jobs to allow us to support our children like we did in Puerto Rico with our federal jobs. The savings we brought from Puerto Rico were quickly disappearing. We ended up accepting lower paying jobs just to be able to secure a roof over our heads and food on our table. We had challenging times ahead of us. We struggled financially for a long time. The struggle turned into the stress of not being able to provide for our children the way we wanted. It felt like we were sacrificing our older 6 children over Edwin's needs. The stress put a strain on our family. I remember crying my eyes out for countless nights, feeling hopeless and how to get ahead. By this time, we had established in Orlando, Florida. Although our finances had improved, they weren't to the level of providing the way we wanted for our 8 children. I often felt like a failure as a parent for not being able to afford some of the nice things, clothes, shoes, toys, extracurricular activities, and going on vacations, those things that other parents could afford for their children and we couldn't. I often felt ashamed being around other people who were better financially. I also felt terrible shame and guilt thinking about how my children and stepchildren should have felt looking at other children having nicer things than they had when they were part of our struggle and stress. Through the years, feelings of frustration grew bigger and bigger for not seem to figure out how to advance financially and secure a stable future for our family. Although my husband and I worked hard, long hours, it never was enough to get ahead. I remember the many times I felt guilty for not having done more in the past to pursue a college degree and secure a career for myself. As time went by, the dream of pursuing a college degree seemed further away and unachievable. But in the year 2000, after Genesis, our baby daughter, was born, I decided to change things around. I realized that although I couldn't do anything to change the outcomes of the past, I still could change the outcome of the future. The desire to do more than the wishful thinking of changing things took me to research different paths to improve our finances. I explored a few businesses. I got trained for different specialized jobs I held. However, it didn't feel like I had reached my maximum potential in life despite my improvements. Besides, I felt like I needed to do more to set an example of growth for success for my children who were already young adults. I wanted to do more to show my children that it is possible to improve in life despite failures and missteps. It is possible to improve as much as one wants to accomplish. One just must be willing to do what it takes to accomplish it. Reflecting on this phase in my life, the old desire to pursue a college degree returned to me. This feeling grew stronger and stronger every day. Nonetheless, at 36 years old, I wasn't sure if it was a possibility for me. After being out of school for so long, I had no idea how a 36-year-old Puerto Rican whose English wasn't good enough to be in college will have a chance to succeed in pursuing a degree. I remember researching different schools, different programs, cost. I remember feeling completely overwhelmed, unsure if I was doing the right thing, not sure if I understood all my options to return to college. Regardless, I enrolled at Barry University in their behavioral science program. My advisor at Barry University helped me with the process of enrollment. I remember feeling so excited about finally being able to return to college. I felt like $1,000,000. I was finally on my way to reaching my next level of success in life, not only for me, but also for my husband and children. Meanwhile, although I was excited to return to college, nothing prepared me to face the fact that I was lacking in the skills needed to succeed as a college student. I was utterly lacking in my writing skills. Reading in English became lengthy at times since I found myself using my dictionaries to understand my textbooks. I relied a lot on the notes I took in class. However, taking notes in class wasn't an easy task for me since my English was limited at the time. Being in college took from me hard work, tears, endless nights without sleep, etc. It was hard to maintain a balance between working to support my family, housework, and pursuing a college degree. I considered dropping school many times. However, the goal of graduating and obtaining a bachelor's degree to show my beloved family became the strength and the motor that kept me going for 3 years until I finally fulfilled all the requirements for graduation. Walking into the graduation ceremony was one of the best feelings I have ever experienced. The pride in accomplishing such a big and challenging goal made me feel like I could achieve anything I set myself to do. The experience of acquiring a bachelor's degree in behavioral science boosted my self-confidence to accomplish higher goals in life and changed my life forever. The many challenges I faced as a college student helped me also challenge myself as a person. The new understanding and knowledge of behavior and how it is acquired sparked in me the desire to learn more about human behavior to help others improve in their lives in the same way I had done it. From there, I decided I wanted to learn more about human behavior. I didn't have a clear idea of the area of human behavior I wanted to specialize in. At the time, industrial and organizational psychology, which is the area of psychology that studies human behavior in the workplace, caught my attention. It is one area that most adults can identify with since many of us work or have worked outside our homes to earn a living to support our families. Working for the support and well-being of one family is a pride shared by people regardless of who they are, their gender, their culture, their beliefs, and so on. After obtaining my master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology from Capella University, Embark, the company I was working at the time, allowed me to engage in different processes initiated by the company, such as hiring, interviewing, mentoring new hires, and training, among others. I enjoyed working in those capacities for Embark, Century, Link today. After completing my master's degree, I consider all the professional doors my education had opened for me. The best reward was to see the pride in my husband's and children's faces of seeing their wife and mother accomplishing such a big goal despite all the sacrifices. In addition, our finances had also improved, allowing us to get to another level financially. One of the professional options I considered after obtaining my master's degree was teaching psychology at college level to undergraduates. I remember applying for teaching jobs for a while in different colleges and universities without success. But a career counselor from Capella University helped me put together a winning resume and a curriculum vitae. Within months, I got hired for my first teaching job by Kaiser University in Orlando. After this job, other teaching jobs followed, both on campus and online, for various higher education institutions. The experience of teaching increased my love for teaching psychology to adults. Seeing the face of the aha moments on my students' faces after listening to something taught or discussed in class became one of the most rewarding experiences for me. In addition, for me personally, teaching psychology became a sign of personal growth and success. from speaking little English when I first moved to Florida to teach to adults in English at the college level, which requires a graduate level of speaking, reading, and writing. It made me feel very proud of myself. I taught psychology courses for 13 years. I got excellent evaluations and ratings from my administrators and students in those years. The experience of teaching psychology courses to adults became so profound for me that I considered pursuing a doctorate degree in psychology for a while. After reflecting on it for a considerable period, I enrolled in educational psychology doctoral program at Capella University, later transferring to Walden University, where I was conferred a second master's degree in educational psychology. At 58 years old, I'm still working on my doctorate degree. Unfortunately, there have been situations that have prevented me from finishing my degree. One of them was an injury I suffered 6 months into my dissertation process during a knee replacement surgery 2.5 years ago. Having to deal with the long recovery, the injury caused me to have delayed my plans to work on my dissertation. I even considered abandoning my dreams of working on obtaining my PhD. However, I decided to keep going and finish despite my current physical challenges. Today, my priorities have changed. Going through the process of a severe injury helped me realize what is essential and important in life. Taking care of myself and my family has become my top priority. However, the psychologist and professor in me still want to leave a legacy of serving others by sharing my passion for education and learning, and communicating with you, my friends, the very principles that have transformed my life. Despite difficulties and obstacles, life is incredible. Things have changed in my life drastically since my injury. However, through resilience, I have discovered a deeper meaning of peace, a sense of purpose, love for myself, love for my family, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, my in-laws, my extended families, a more profound sense of gratitude for having them in my life, a deeper understanding of gratitude for my friends and what they bring to my life. Today, despite changes in my health, I want to live my life to the fullest. I choose to be happy and enjoy the beautiful life I get to live every day, knowing that I can choose to be happy and decide what's best for me despite obstacles. Through this video, I have opened my heart to you, not to brag about my accomplishments, but to let you know that if you, for whatever reason, are feeling disappointed or frustrated with yourself for not accomplishing the goals that you desire so much, or for not getting to your next level, whether you have desired to pursue a college degree or any type of training or classes you may want to pursue, or do something for yourself to grow as a person, you are not alone. I completely understand you because I have been there myself. I have experienced disappointment and frustration with myself for not doing more to accomplish my goals than I should have. I have also understood that just because I haven't done or didn't do more to accomplish my goals in the past, it doesn't mean I still can do something to achieve them. I have come to understand that if I don't know how to do something I would like to accomplish, I can learn to do what it takes to complete them. In the same way, I would like you to encourage you to believe in yourself. And if there has been a desire in your mind to do something for your personal growth, do not hesitate any longer. Find the strength and resilience you have found in the past when facing difficult times and obstacles in your life and how you overcame them. I hope my humble story inspires you to believe in yourself and accomplish your most desired goals. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to give it a like and leave a comment for me. Thank you.